The purpose of this video is to warn guys about a woman in the Philippines. If you're looking to meet single Filipino woman, a woman named Ever Mae Nollora Baay of Davao Del Norte is a woman I met back at the beginning of December. And she's an absolute liar and a scammer. And I just wanted to tell you my story about her to caution you against Filipino women in general. I'm not saying all Filipino women are bad, but this particular one is. Within just a couple of days of meeting this woman, Ever Mae, she, quote, asked me to wife her up, which I thought was strange because she's actually a pretty attractive woman. You can see this is the profile in Filipino Cupid of her. So I thought it was strange that she was coming from a position of such desperation like that. She said she was 46 years old, which is another thing. She lied about her age. Her profile, she said she was 44. But she said that she's alone, is getting older, afraid of being alone, blah, 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 blah. Seemed like a really wonderful, genuine person. And I mistakenly, quickly fell in love with her. Kind of ashamed to admit that. But after only about a week and a half of knowing her, we both agreed that we want to get married and she wants to come into this country to be with me and be with me forever, blah, 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 bullshit. And I went through the effort of filing what's called a Form I-129F, which is to bring a woman over to the United States to be your wife, immigrant fiancé it's called. Cost me $675, took a great deal of effort. I had to get copies of my past divorces. I had to get copies of my birth certificate, social security number. Took a lot of time. And then I mistakenly also, over the course of the 2.5 months of getting to know her, I sent her a total of about $1,000, a bunch of gifts. I started to see some red flags with her. Like, she kept swearing up and down, she's definitely coming. She guarantees she's coming to be my wife. But then in conversation, she would slip up and say things, well, if I come there, and then she would say, I pray to God every day to tell me that if we're right for each other, but yet she's swearing up and down she guarantees that she's coming. In addition to that, I have strong suspicions that this woman may be a prostitute. You can come to this website which tells the entire story. There's a link in the video description. The reason I think she's a prostitute is me and her talked every day. Like, we were constantly video chatting with each other. We would call each other, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a day. We'd do hour-long video chats multiple times a day. She would introduce me to, like, if she was with friends or family, she would turn the phone to them and say, oh, this is my mom, and her mom would wave hi, or this is my daughter, blah, blah, blah. So the message I was getting loud and clear was, I was in, man. I mean, if in the Philippines, if you're introducing a guy to your family, that says that you're in. So I was firmly convinced that she was a great and wonderful girl and that I could trust her. Well, about a month and a half after we were talking and getting to know each other, she said she was going away to see a friend that was like 50 or 60 miles away. She had to take a bus. And she stayed at the friend's for an overnight. She went there in the afternoon, stayed overnight, came back the next day. During that time at the friend's house, she did not call me or video chat with me or text me once. Not one single time in a day and a half. And I strongly suspect that she was doing an overnight prostitution stay with a guy. Most of the women in the Philippines are very poor. They make very little money. And quite a few of the women over there do prostitution. And I think she did. So if you decide to meet and get to know this girl, be cautious. Make sure you wear rubber or get her STD tested beforehand. And towards the end of our quote-unquote relationship, which was the middle of February, I thought to myself, it was getting to be Valentine's Day, and I thought to myself, this is going to be a test to see if this woman is a self-centered person and if she cares about me, because although she doesn't have much money, I have given her $1,000 deposited into her bank account. And I was thinking to myself, if this girl cares about me at all, then she's going to send me a Valentine's Day card, the least that she could do. Valentine's Day came, no card. She made up some dumb excuse about it. Red flags started popping up left and right. So I became more and more suspicious. I started expressing those suspicions to her. She started getting upset with me for expressing those suspicions. We ended up having a big fight, and I said a lot of really bad things to her, and then she blocked me. After she blocked me, I contacted her sister via Facebook and another one of her sister's husbands And I sent them a nasty message simply because Ever Mae blocked me and I couldn't talk to her, so I was frustrated and I had a vent. So I vented to her sister and her sister's brother, and surprisingly, their response was nice back, despite how I was nasty to them. Her sister said, well, you can read it right here. It's sad you have a misunderstanding with my sister, Ever Mae, just to let you know we haven't tolerated her bad behavior in the past, which says she must engage in a lot of bad behavior for her own sister to say that. And her brother-in-law says, I was talking to him and I said, I never wanted to hit a girl in my life so much as I want to hit Ever Mae. He says, do whatever it takes, sir, so you have peace of mind. I really don't care for her. And over here, he says, I think she's a magnificent C-word. So all I'm saying is if you meet this woman, I would click the next button if I was you.